For my visual literacy project, I chose to do an infographic with Visme. My default is to make presentations, and I thought it would be good to try something different. Actually, infographics are only slightly out of my comfort zone. For this project, I really wanted to stretch, so I attempted a sketch note. I want to like sketch noting, but it just doesn't seem to work for my otherwise visual brain. Between a limited app, because I didn't pay for Procreate, no stylus, and some art skills that need work, I got frustrated. I did learn, however, that until I have more practice, I should start by taking my traditional notes and sketching those. I decided on an infographic. I'm a big fan of graphic design. Besides being pretty, it really does help my brain process. At the school I work at, my teachers are guilty of crimes against slide decks that no child should have to witness. Our staff wouldn't listen to a formal lesson on graphic principles with lines and balance, but they would listen to a short mini lesson on making digital stuff better. That is why I like the crap design principles. It's memorable, easy, and can be applied by non designers. I reached out to my art teacher, and we're going to create a design presentation that she and I will teach to sixth grade students. I will then share the same lesson with teachers in my tech team meetings. I decided to make this infographic for the after, which can be posted to help people remember the four principles. Although I used a template from Visme, there was a lot of tweaking that made it my own. From changes to layout to alignment to icons that help serve as visual reminders, I feel my project balances information and white space. This is my design. I was kind of surprised that the Visme template had 4 different fonts. There were 2 for the top and 2 for the text below, and I thought that was a little bit too much. Typically, good design has 2 or 3 fonts. The 4 principles of design are contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. And what I chose to do is take the definitions from the Non-Designer Design Book by Robin Williams and use those with examples of each of the 4 principles. So you can see for contrast, I took gray and then a navy blue font, and I actually contrasted the size and kind of had the variation of color in the circle. The example of repetition, I chose to use polka dots. For alignment, I took these 2 great graphics and sort of lined them up. And then for proximity, I used sort of the map icon for things should be together and related. I was a little concerned about turning this project in because it seems simple. Anytime there's a lot of white space, I worry that things don't feel balanced. And I feel like by changing the fonts and moving the way the text was, I sort of have enough there that it doesn't feel too blank and not too much that it's too busy. I actually had 2 different hangouts in order to get some feedback on my design. The first one was a Google Hangout with Jennifer and Maki, and when I met with them, this was my original design. And as you can see, a couple of the suggestions they had were instead of using these circles, it made more sense to put the examples sort of in those bolder, more noticeable places. Also, we noticed that I had left off proximity down here, whoops. And then they thought the white space was great, but I was a little bit uncomfortable with it. And so you can see by changing the font size just a little bit, I sort of used the space a little bit better. I also got rid of this graphic that was part of the template because it just didn't feel like it fit the design principle. My second hangout was in person with Beth, who turns out to not only live a matter of minutes away from me, but we both work far north of ourselves in neighboring districts. So our hangout was literal with Starbucks coffee. I have a passion for graphic design. I think in my next life that is probably what I would do for a living. I feel like between playing with sketchnoting, uh, experimenting with Canva with the book cover, and also making an infographic, I really feel like I got a good practice with visual design.